Good day, everyone. Can you all hear me? You can just drop that in the chat area. All right. I want to especially welcome you to this webinar on smart digital transformation for African businesses, organized by APEC Group in collaboration with PwC Nigeria. In the course of this webinar, we'll be taking you through how these products could be of value, commercial value to your business. And then we'll have a demo session where we'll take you through some of the features of the product. And thereafter, we'll go ahead to have some sessions where we'll be demonstrating some use cases of this product. I mean, just some cases where this product have actually been used to add value, in various sectors of the economy. And to show that your data, your financial data, your personal data, and everything is also secured on this platform, we'll be taking you through the security architecture of the product. And afterwards, we'll close up by having David take us through how this product again can add commercial value to your business. Okay, so like I said, this webinar is organized by APEC Group in collaboration with PwC Nigeria. APEC Group is an IT services provider with over 2 decades of experience in multiple sectors of the economy. While PwC, on the other side, is a multinational professional services company with operations in over 156 countries of the world. And PwC has been operating in Nigeria since 1953. And we have presence in 3 different cities and operations nationwide. Okay, so in the course of this webinar, we'll be having various experts, take us through different things. First off, we'll be having David Oyendi take us through how this product can add commercial value to our business. We'll then have Yemi Bakri, who is a co-founder at APEC Group, take us through the demo session. Essentially, she'll be showing us some of the key features of this product. Afterwards, we'll be having Adeshola Shoetan, who is the Chief Result Officer of Hotspot Network. He'll be taking us through an education business case for this product. And then we'll be having Toye Oyewumi, who is the head of digital and data service at Venture Garden Group. He'll be taking us through a digital transformation business case. So afterwards, we'll also go ahead to show us how this product can be used in the non-governmental, sectors, in NGOs, basically. So we'll be having Tieno Balde, who is an ED at Zero Poverty and Africa, take us through an NGO business case. And then we'll be having the CTO of APEC Group, who is Ahmad Abadi, take us through the security infrastructure of the product. So we'll close up the event by having David Oyende come back again to tell us how this product can be of commercial value to our business, essentially how the product can help improve, our bottom line. So I'll close up the event by taking up, questions from the audience. So at this particular point, we'll actually be diving in straight away by inviting David Oyendi, a manager at PwC Technology Advisory Practice, take us through how this product can be of commercial value, to our business. So David, you're welcome. You can take over.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Similar. I want to say it's a pleasure to be here. And I want to say thank you to all the participants that have joined this webinar session. Uh, Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all the speakers. Good morning to all the participants. So let's just go right in. I wonder if this is the first time uh, some of us are hearing about the product Java 365. Maybe with a show of hands or within the chat area, if you can confirm to me that, this is the first time I'm hearing about Java 365, or what is Java 365? I've never heard about it. Can I get some responses in the chat area? I'm looking out for responses. Oh, wow. We have quite a number of first timers. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, somebody has heard about it. Jones Bini has heard about JAVAT already. Oh, yes. Yes, so well, good. Thank you for these responses. Some of us have heard about it, and for some of us, this is the first time we're hearing about Java 365. So if this is the first time, there's a couple of things I will be pointing out, for you to take away from this first talk. And if this is not the first time, I mean, this is just an opportunity again to re-emphasize what you already know about Java 365. Now, so we're looking at driving commercial value within our region, within the current environment we find ourselves, and within this new workspace that we are now getting used to. From the post-pandemic, I would say post-pandemic, it has been a different work style for organizations in Nigeria, right, and even across Africa and across the world. Nigeria, right, we now have, I would say, three kinds of work styles. The work from home. Some people prefer to work from home outrightly. Some people even want to work from anywhere. It may not even be in the country of your location or your country of your work location. And then for some, they prefer the hybrid style of working. And so, if we're looking at how employees' tastes are changing and how uh, to meet this need for collaboration within our current space, it is now important that we look to a different way of collaborating. Back in the days, meetings in the office was the in thing. If you wanted to, collaborate with anybody, you needed to meet with the person in a meeting. You needed to, engage one-on-one physically to ensure that you're getting value from whatever meeting that you're having with the person. But these days, things are changing. Now, for businesses, identifying key value drivers, overall in the business, you're looking at, okay, how am I going to allocate time? How am I going to allocate resources? What are the capital? What kind of capital is needed? And where do I focus my capital? In what area of the business that I'm interested in, if I'm going to drive, the most commercial value from that area. And you look at different types of drivers. There are some that are micro drivers. There are some that are macro drivers. Uh, Things like operational efficiency, things like cost, things like labor, things like the raw materials. Different organizations factor in their own key value drivers when they're setting up. But one key area that is and also as a very very key commercial value driver is the people within the organization. There's a saying that the people are the assets of an organization, all right? And so the question is, how do you ensure that you are maximizing your assets? How do you ensure that you know, you have the right people in the right place and they're giving you the right value? One thing that is very critical is, if you have people together, everybody has to work towards a common goal. We have a vision, we have strategic goals from the beginning of the year, and everybody's working towards it. And everybody you know, gets a buy-in into that into the goals. Everybody says, okay, this is the part I'm delivering with respect to these goals. I'm delivering on this other part with respect to this goal. And together we are achieving one main goal, which contributes to the overall objective of the organization. So bringing people together, I talked about how our current work style. Now, factoring our current work style and bringing in people together, we now require a different kind of tool to ensure that we are harnessing the power of our people at this time around. And that is where Java 365 comes in. This is where we actually want to plug in Java 365. Now we want a case where, even though we don't have physical meetings, but we still want employees to, have that feeling of buy-in into whatever it is, that the organization has set as an objective for itself. Driving team meetings, driving stand-ups, driving project meetings, driving new marketing campaign meetings, driving collaboration in one way or the other, video calls, video meetings. This is where Java 365 is coming in to help you drive the commercial value linked to people for every organization. Now, if you're new to JAVAT, JAVAT is that, I would say, that solution, that mobile first solution that helps you, plug in, and it helps you share. First of all, helps you share information across your team, helps you, categorize yourselves into groups, so you can have different departments, and teams can collaborate within their own mini spaces. It's also very secure with the kind of administration that happens on the back end. So Java also has cool stuff for video meetings, and carrying out surveys and polls all over. Java also allows you to make announcements, get the pulse of your employees. Oh, we are updating this policy, a part of this policy. We're sharing this document. Oh, employees, team, what do you think about this? You can feel the pulse of your employees when they make use of like the poll functionality in Java 365. So one thing that's key in this time that we're in is that you cannot take away the fact that people must meet, people must collaborate. Java presents you that key tool to help you plug in and help you collaborate even better. We've seen cases where Java 365 have been used to improve training, for example. You now have where employees can share knowledge with one another. Oh, I just learned something new. We can create a document around it, and publish it, and that information is now passed on to every other person that needs it at that point in time. Uh, Collaborating, troubleshooting on a task, project teams working together, software development teams working together. Collaborate. You can collaborate on Java 365. Oh, I have issues. You can use the portal for escalations, for solving problems. And overall, all these things tie into the operational efficiency, helping your company run smooth overall. Let me just remind you once again that Java is here with the aim of, you know, helping you realize that intrinsic commercial value through your people and through the collaboration of your teams to help you achieve your strategic objectives. And as you use Java 365, I'm sure you will find even more interesting ways to use it. You will find more interesting use cases, to put it to test, to ensure that you're getting the best out of it. With this short introduction, I hope I have been able to just, pass this first and foremost the message that the fact that you're here, listening to this webinar, you have made the right choice in the first place, and then we aim to bring to you the Java 365, as a solution that will drive commercial value and help you achieve your organizational objectives strategically. Thank you. So over to you,
Thank you
Smiler.
so much. Thank you so much, David. That was actually a very powerful presentation over there. Um, okay, so without taking so much time, I think I would like to move on to the next speaker. But before I do that, briefly, I would just like to say that one interesting thing, about Java, which is actually part of what David has talked about, is that Java creates an inclusive work environment for everybody. So, for example, a driver that works in a company would even have a Java customized email in quotes where you know that particular driver could actually get to have corporate communications that concerns him. So it doesn't necessarily have to just be the office workers that get to have access to such information, that get to have access to such corporate emails. So because of the because this particular product is very affordable, it is actually such that companies could further increase their call it inclusiveness, to bring in, say, the drivers and some other workers in an organization. And as that happens, you expect that there would be improved efficiency in the company. So let's move to Yemi. Yemi is a co-founder at APEC Group. She'll be taking us through the demo session, and I'm sure you'll get to enjoy our conversation. So over to you, Yemi.
Thank you. Thank you, Smiler. Can you hear me okay? I would take that as a yes. If everyone can hear me, just leave something in the chat so at least I know. But I would take that as a yes. All right, awesome. Thank you. I got the first chat. So thank you so much, David. Thank you so much, Smiler. I mean, honestly, I don't even know what else to say to add to everything that you gentlemen have said, because you've clearly defined what we're doing over here at APEC Group with JAVAT 365. So let's quickly go ahead and dive into the demo session today. So I'm really excited to present some really cool things on this webinar. So the topic here is driving cost efficiency and mastering collaboration by leveraging JAVAT 365. But first, let's look at some of the challenges of collaboration and communication tools that have been identified through surveys. Well, expensive license being one of it. As you all know, organizations are starting to recognize that most times only a subset of applications are being utilized in some collaboration solutions per license, per user license. And most importantly, majority of these users within the organizations are just information consumers. So that means that they really do not need all these applications that are jam-packed in these licenses. And dedicated support is really not offered unless you're ready to pay the premium. And even with that, it can be very limiting because of the different tiers that's being offered. And with some of these collaboration tools having a lot of awesome features and modules, it starts to become less user intuitive for all user type, which in turns make user onboarding ineffective and also discouraging. So because of this, a lot of organizations start to look for solutions on how to use these tools to attain their goals, because the users are technically disengaged at this point. Lastly, the licenses are typically not inclusive, as you'll be required to purchase a certain type of license for a specific type of users due to license limitation, which at the end of all of this, it becomes a challenge because it still drives up your collaboration cost. So with these challenges in mind, we at APEC Group, being a digital workplace provider, then got inspired to bridge the gap for the organizations that are seeking a cost-effective internal communication solution that addresses all of these issues and some more that I've just mentioned. So JAVAT 365, meaning just a very awesome team all year round, he's here to be that cost-effective mobile internal communication solution that provides just the essential features, such as, like David mentioned, targeted content sharing, video conferencing, survey creation, group and private chat, social features, mail clients, like Smiler mentioned, and so many other cool features. So I'm sure there's a big question. Why JAVAT 365? What makes JAVAT 365 stand out among others? Well, it's simple. We focus on just the essential features needed to have an effective engagement with your targeted audience. With a pricing of just $2 per user per month, JAVAT 365 is also the only hybrid solution. Hybrid meaning you really don't need to bring in any other integration like the likes of Microsoft, but it's the only hybrid solution that allows you to leverage your Microsoft licenses to start to really drive costs down immediately. And we can show you how this works in the one-on-one demo should you wish to explore this option after this webinar. Also, knowing that keeping things simple but impactful is always the way to go, Our solution is built to have less clicks and super intuitive for all types of users. And also the security aspect and compliance is a big deal for us at APEC Group. So this is also translated to JAVAT 365, as we are ISO 9001 compliant, we're GDPR compliant, NDPR compliant, PCI DSS compliant, and so much more. Security is key for us. So for those that are new to JAVAT 365, here are some of the key features that we have. There are different components of JAVAT 365, starting from the mobile app to the admin center. So the mobile app is where your information consumers, whether it's internally or external members, will receive targeted content shared with them in their specific private or public group, while still collaborating with other users within their group, or maybe even a private chat. The web app side of things is where the groups and the management of tenants and accounts happen. So rich content such as articles, documents, and surveys are being curated on this web app and then published to one or many groups at the same time with less clicks. The mail client is also an optional model for organizations that would like to have their custom email domain attached. And I have to also say that thereafter, once you decide to opt into this, which is part of the $2 per user per model, users can also add their new email accounts that is generated for them on their mobile devices using the exchange option. Very simple. And lastly, the admin center is where the super admin manages the tickets. So for example, if you need to raise a ticket to our support team, we're there for you. You can manage your subscriptions and also organization details, all in the admin portal. So let's quickly look at how some organizations are taking advantage of JAVAT 365 today by running through some how-to demos. So the first scenario that we have here, or actually with the scenarios that I'll be sharing with you, is an organization with different segments of their businesses, leveraging JAVAT 365 for their frontline workers, for community involvement, and also for internal corporate departments. So hang on tight, we're going to go ahead and start with our scenarios here. The first scenario that we're looking at here is Lisa, who is a communication specialist, and she's responsible for publishing news to the organization. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to quickly show a video that shows her, shows what that looks like. So let me go ahead and choose this video. So I'm going to go back and forth really quick. But in this scenario here, you see where this lady, Lisa, is creating a content, and she's looking for the general group, and in the general group she's creating a wiki update that she wants to share with everyone within the organization. So as we talked about this rich content, you see how she's able to bring in text. Matter of fact, some of this text you can copy and paste directly from the website. And also with our rich content editor, you can see where she's bringing in an image, where she's going to also add to that as well. And when she does that, she's going to go ahead and hit the save and publish button. And what that does is then sends a push notification to everyone there, so that way they can see that content has been shared, the push notification. And once they receive it, they click on it, and there you can see the content is now being shown on the mobile device for every member of the group to take a look at. Awesome, right? All right, great. So then the next thing I'm going to then go back to here is the presentation, so we can look at the next slide. I must also say, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the question box. Smiler will be taking that question at the end of the presentation, and we'll be able to address those for you. All right, the next one that we have here is engaging the community. Here we have John, and John is a public relations specialist. So he is pretty much responsible for gathering data. So how does that work? Let's go ahead and again look at a quick video that shows you how John is engaging the community. So in this video, we have John. So John wants to create a survey. So let me just take it a step back and hit the play button. As you can see, he clicks on the create survey button up there for the marketing group. And when he does that, he's presented with this page where he then fills in the survey question as well as the description and put in the questions that he would like to have submitted. So once he does that, he then clicks on the submit button, and then again, voila, that then goes to the mobile app push notification. So in this case, you would see where you see a survey indication where it says product review survey. So this is where the member would then click on that survey. And when they fill that survey out, so one of the things I must mention here is we love dark mode within our organization. So that's why this looks dark. So this is actually in dark mode. All right, so when we go ahead and click, so John, the members then fills out the survey as the video indicates. And once that is done, John is able to see how that metrics come in real time on his dashboard here. So that's pretty much what this is indicating. John is able to push out a survey, everybody answers, and this can be whatever scenario you see it fit for your organization. And then he's able to get real-time metrics as people are answering that survey. And I must add that this survey can be shared to one or many groups at the same time, as long as John is the owner of that group. All right, so the next thing we're going to go back to is the presentation so that we can look at the next scenario here. So the next scenario here is Matt. So Matt works at the legal department, and he's a part of a group, a legal group that makes sure that he has all the content that he needs to be able to make sound legal decision from a corporate standpoint. So I'm just going to go ahead and present what that looks like, reassuring confidentiality for Matt and his team. So we're just going to look at what that looks like. So in this scenario, we're actually taking you to looking at what it looks like when you create a group. So in this case, we are creating a legal department, making it private, and then choosing the owners of that group. So in this case, so that's kind of what this video is depicting. Creation of a group, and the group is being created because the person is an admin. So now that group is created. Now what Matt is looking for is group called legal departments, which will be clicked on. And in this, you can see that there are articles, there are documents being already shared all around legalities. So what Matt is just going to do is just going to click on one of that document so you can see what that looks like. So again, information at your fingertip of where you go on the mobile solution. That's the key thing here for us. Creating of content online and disseminating it out to the right people that are always on the go, especially in a virtual world. All right, so I'm going to take you through another scenario here. And this is actually my favorite. It's all about keeping everyone included. So this is promoting inclusiveness. So Mary here is a frontline worker, and she is a security guard for the organization. So she's just going to go through a scenario where you see that the company appreciates her so much, and they are giving her a shout out because it is her birthday. So she receives a notification, a happy birthday notification from the security team saying, "Happy birthday, Mary." And when she receives that notification, she can see that come through, and she can see that article come through to her group. She clicks on it. She's able to then go into conversations and actually see that her team members have been, I think I clicked a bit too fast there. Let me go back here. She can see that her team members have been wishing her a happy birthday. And one of the things I wanted to highlight here is our chat feature is very rich. You can upload images, you can upload videos, you can reply to, but this is just to show you that inclusiveness, making people feel special no matter what role that they have. Because again, this solution is extremely cost effective for that. Another few things that I also want to kind of highlight is some of the other features that we have here. So if I choose the video aspect here, you can see how JAVAT 365 video also work as well. You have a very rich experience where people are kind of able to talk to each other virtually. They can chat, they can do so much. So this is just kind of showing you some of the different elements of JAVAT 365. So I'm going to go back to our presentation here and talk about the next things that we have. So again, all of these really cool features and functionalities, very, very simple, straightforward to use. And we'll, again, like I said, we'll be more than happy to take you through how that works on a one-on-one, even after these events, should you request such. So JAVAT 365 has so many benefits. So this slide here is just showing some of our other key benefits. We talked about the mail storage, the mail client that comes with a JAVAT 365 license as an optional if you like it. It comes with a 10 gigabytes of mail storage for each and every single one of your users. You have a very rich group management, a very rich governance. We talked about the admin center, the security and compliance, and also for organizations that actually want to white label, although we offer a very soft white label experience on the web app side, it is something that we're willing to consider. Something that we're willing to do if you would love an option to completely white label a solution for your organization. So with that said, I just want to quickly also touch on evolution, on our evolution roadmap. There's a lot of awesome things coming up as we continue to evolve, a lot of user feedback. We love it. So a lot of things are evolving, but the main goal for us is simplicity and cost efficiency and a solution that works for the African terrain. So some of the recent release features that we have on the mobile side, we have recently released a chat feature that allows you to, again, reply to messages, upload many and other types of media files. From a profile perspective, we're seeing a lot of people starting to have group conversation in other JAVAT 365 environments. So you can add multiple organizations to your mobile app so that way you can switch in between anyone with just a single click, and you can also receive notification. And also on the web app side of things, we have our file repository. So what this file repository actually does is it allows you to be able to upload any type of files in your group where the internal members can actually upload as well. You can start to share all these files to your other members, and those files also gets translated on the mobile app as an article. It's very rich. So we put together a very quick video on how that would work, and I would love to present that shortly here. From an internal user perspective as well, we have tags. And I would explain what that looks like as well in the video that I will be sharing in a minute regarding to these recently released features, and also the search functionality. Know who is in your group and being able to manage access. So that's kind of what this search is about. So I will go ahead and play the video that takes us really quickly through the web app recently released features, and then the mobile app recently released features. So hang tight as we go through this video so you can see live action. So today we're going to be looking at three features that we recently released for JAVAT 365, and these features are the user tags, as well as the search bar that we have up here for you to quickly find users and the groups that they belong in, as well as a file repository for each of your groups. So I like to paint a scenario here, which is a company would like to create a couple of groups like we have one here, and they want to be able to have some set of users to be able to support that group, or maybe from a marketing perspective, so that way they don't have to add those users every single time to those groups. So this is where the user tag starts to really take full effect. So the first thing we're going to do here is I'm going to click on user tag. So that takes us to the page. And as you can see, we have some quite interesting groups that we've created in our demo environment. I must also say that I'm currently signed in as a super admin, and that means that I have access to everything within this particular tenant. So to get started, I am going to click on create tags, and give this name the marketing team, like I said. And I'm not really good at description, but I'll come up with something because I think marketing people are cool. So I would click on create tags. So now that tag is now created. So the next thing I want to do is attach this tag to specific users. So I'm going to choose a user here, and I have this tag section, and as you can see, we have a drop down of the tags that we already have. I'll select marketing team, and just keep in mind that you can select more than one tag for an individual. So I click on save. Let me also select one more person just so we can see how that works. I'll click on this person here, and I will add that tag as well, and I'll click on save. I would like to add one more person. Let me add one more person here and click on save. All right, perfect. So we have that completed. Now, the next thing I want to do is go back to the group. In this case, we've already kind of created a group called Webinar APEC BWC just to save us some time. And now we're going to want to add these users to this group. So I'm going to click on edit group details. So that takes me to the membership side of things. And as you can see, because I created this group as an admin, automatically I'm added to that group as well as a member. All right, so now we have this option here to manage tags. So I'm going to click on manage tags, and now I'm going to find that group. Again, we can add multiple tags to a particular group. So in this case, we're just going to focus on marketing team, and we are going to click on OK. Now you would notice that all of those members that I've added to that tag are now pulled in. Awesome. And you can see what their role are within the organization as well, and if they belong to any other tags as well. So what I want to then do is quickly add in an external person. So I'm going to click on add, and I would pre-fill this information here because again, this person is an external person to my organization. I just want them to be a part of this particular group only. So I'll click on OK. So when I click on OK, now this person is going to be added to this group only. Now, let's see how this works as far as the search user is concerned. So I'll click here, and let me go ahead and type in this person's name. When I click on this person, you quickly see that this person actually has been added to other groups as well, right? And how does this work? It's actually validating by their email. So we've added them into Webinar APEC group. And again, because I'm a super admin, I can remove them from any group that I would like to remove them. I can also do that as an owner, but I would only be able to remove them from my group, and I would only see that they belong to my group if I am searching as an owner. All right, so I'm going to close this just to highlight that functionality there. And now let's go into the repository. So in this breadcrumb, I'm just going to click on group content. So you'd see that we have this repository option here. Now, when I click on this repository, we've already kind of uploaded a document. And just to quickly highlight how this works, as you can see, again, as a super admin, I have all these functions available to me. As an owner of the group, if I'm another owner that doesn't happen to be a super admin, I would still also have the same actions as well. Now, if a member of a group is viewing the repository, the member would only have the download option. Now, if the member uploads a document, the member will have the download and the option for them to delete only their own documents. Now, we've uploaded this MP4 file, as this repository actually supports any types of file. But from a view standpoint, it is a little bit different in the sense that it only supports document type views such as PDF, document, and Excel, and videos. But anything apart from that, you would have to download, and there will be instructions on that. All right, so just for the sake of demo, I will click on upload here. And when I click on upload, let me go ahead and upload some demo documents that I have. I think I have an Excel here just to see what that looks like. So I have uploaded this Excel. Let me go ahead and also perhaps upload a Word document as well. And I've uploaded this Word document. Now I'm going to click on this Word document, and you can see it's bringing in the content. It tells me it's viewing this particular document. Again, it's just demo document. If I click on this Excel, you can also see that it's brought in this demo Excel document. And if I click on the second tab here, I can see as many tabs as it has dynamically. All right, cancel. So that brings us to the end of these features. If there's so much more that our solution have. So if there's any questions, we'll be more than happy to take that on a one-on-one or at the end of this webinar during the FAQs. Thank you. All right, awesome.
Thank
Sorry,
you
Smile.
so much, Amy. All right.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, please, Smila.
Just continue.
Okay. All right. So I do have just one last presentation. I know the moderator is telling me my time is up, but just one last presentation, and I will hand over the mic. And this is just going over the mobile app feature recently released as well. Hello. So today we're going to be looking at the mobile app features that we have for JAVAT 365 for the month of June. But before I get started, I would actually like to go back to the web app feature for the file repository as it relates to being able to share content. So we have this group here that we were looking at on the web app, and what we've actually done is shared two content from the web app to the group members. And typically when you share a content from the repository to the group members, what that does is it comes in an article mode where you can actually add more content around it. So in this case, for example, as you can see, we've shared 5 reasons for JAVAT 365. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and you can see we already put some content around it. We've changed the title. We put some content. It's not so creative, but we're trying. And then we'll go ahead and if I go ahead and click on the video here, you'd see that you can actually play that video. Okay, so we're going to come back out of that. Just wanted to highlight that quickly. So let's go into the reason why we're here today in regards to the chat, the mobile features as it relates to our chat experience, as well as being able to switch between organizations and still be notified all through no matter what organization you're currently logged in as. All right, so when I click on the chat feature here, I'm going to go ahead and click on this group. And you can see there's already ongoing conversations. You can go ahead and add images, and you can add videos like we have on the new release. And you can see that there are some content that's already been replied to as well. But just for demo purposes, I can click here and you can see where you can choose photo or video, or you can respond to comments as well. Hello. And just to see what that looks like. All right, awesome. So the next thing is going to the profile page and just highlighting how you can switch between organizations. So I am currently in Demo Live. If I click on switch organizations, you can see that I've already added 2 organizations here. And if I click on this add organization button, it allows me to be able to add in any other organization as well through the normal process. All right, I'm just going to go back here and just to see what that switching of profile looks like. So as you know, we're currently in Demo Live. If I click on APEC group, what this does is quickly switch the screen with the content to show my APEC group tenants content instead. And if I click on chat, within seconds, this is also updated as well. So, all right, I'll go back home and I want to go back and switch to Demo Live. And you can see what that looks like. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do is I want to show you what that looks like when we actually send a message to a different tenant while you are still in this particular one. So, for example, I'm just going to send a message to let's see here, bear with me for just a second. The dev team, I'll just say hello. And if I hit send, you see a push notification that comes in that a message from APEC group organization came in. All right. Well, thank you. That brings us to the end of the presentation. All right, Smila, you can take it now.
Okay, thank you so much, Yemi.
My pleasure.
All right, so that was actually a very long session and quite indicating too. So I think at this particular point we'll be having a 4 minute recess. So we expect everyone to just rest a bit, stretch your legs, and come back in 4 minutes time. That is by 11 a.m. At that particular time, we'll be going on with the use cases with Adeshola, taking the lead. So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in 4 minutes time. Thank you. Hi everyone. It's 11 o'clock already. Uh, Say hi if you are back in the chat area. Okay, I've actually gotten a number of responses from um, participants. So we'll just be moving on right now. So at this particular point, we'll be having Adeshola talk to us about how JAVAT itself, could be used in universities, higher institutions, secondary schools, and all of that. So let's just say you run a school, for example, in Lagos. So the question is, how can Java 365 be of value, to you? How can it be of value to you, to the students, and to the parent of the students, you teach? So at this particular time, I'll be handing over to Additional Shenton to take it from here.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, APEC Group, for having me on this webinar. It's been very insightful so far. So just a very awesome team. How can we apply JAVAT to bring efficiency and, basically just help the process of learning in our higher institutions? So I've looked at, basically I'm going to just give a brief background. Okay, let me introduce myself first. My name is Adeshola Shueton. I'm the Chief Operating Officer, actually. I've moved from that role to Chief Operating Officer of Hotspot Network Limited. Hotspot basically is an infrastructure sharing and co-location company. And so we build digital infrastructure for MNOs, mobile network operators in Nigeria, including MTN, Airtel, and Co. And we also offer certain infrastructure components for MNOs that are actually targeted at high traffic areas such as universities as well. So there are about 170 universities in Nigeria at the moment, including private, federal, and state universities. Of that number, 99 of them are private universities, 45 of them are federal, and 54 of them are state. And basically, there's been an increase towards privatizing universities in Nigeria, basically to deliver better learning outcomes for both the students and the faculties. Next slide, so we can look at the use cases. So the first use case, of course, is the first point of entry for students into tertiary institutions. If you look at the application processes of most of these universities and tertiary institutions, it can be quite challenging for most students. To arrive at these problems and use cases, we set up a focus group of newly graduated students, students who are still in school in their final years. And we basically just got the experiences through the journey of entering school and then, of course, exiting and looking at the various aspects of learning. The first, of course, is the application process when you're going to get into school post-UTME. For most students, it can be quite challenging keeping up with that process of applying because there are a number of things you need to do. You need to get screened by the school after you've been notified that you've been admitted into the school. So there's a lot of document screening that goes on. How can JAVAT help in this case? Now, if you can use the platform to basically get students to present their paper documents, not necessarily going from first you go to the Senate building for screening, you go to the faculty as well for another screening, and even the department for another screening. So that's a three-step process. Now, if all of these individual functions within the university are able to use JAVAT for this process, it simplifies the process for both the students, the faculty, as well as even the parents who are basically supporting their children to get a better education. So you will see that for most of these students, it's quite challenging, and I'm speaking even from experience as well. Having to go through the application process for getting into a tertiary institution in Nigeria, it can be quite challenging. You can also, during the application process, have FAQs on the JAVAT platform, And from anywhere you are, whether it's the parent, whether it's the student, or whoever it is that is supporting the students through the application process, can look at frequently asked questions, whether it's about fees, whether it is about accommodation procedures, whether it is about subjects that are going to the subjects that the student is going to take throughout the course of study. All of those things can be put on the JAVAT platform, and since it's an interactive platform, you can have people on the other side in the school who can interact with students who are looking for answers to questions about the application process. And it basically brings efficiency into the process. And like the first speaker said, the universities themselves are an organization and they are profit motivated as well. So of course, putting efficiency in the function and the processes of application would definitely help bring efficiency into that process. Another aspect of learning that students also mention is the process for actually sitting for exams. If you look at the process for sitting for exams, there is specific requirements or criteria. No, I'm still on this slide. I'm still on the previous slide. I'm talking about the admit card and result announcement. So for you to enter into an exam hall, from what I've been told, there are specific criteria that you need to fulfill, like probably like attendance in classes. Maybe there's a minimum percentage. Say maybe they're going to be for an entire semester, for example, you're supposed to attend at least 15 lectures and you're unable to do so, you will not be admitted into an exam hall. Now, the lecturer who is in charge of the course can publish the names of those students who have met that criteria. There are a number of probably assignments and tests as well that you must have fulfilled to be able to qualify to enter into an exam hall. All of those things can be put on the JAVAT platform, and students can easily, in cases where there are errors or there's inaccuracy, can basically interact with the course lecturer even before the exam time. Also, it's possible that instead of having an admit card, you can just show a notification on the JAVAT platform before entering the exam hall. So this basically simplifies the process of evaluating students who qualify to enter into an exam hall to write an exam. Now, for result announcement as well, the typical process would be, I think some universities already probably have some digital platforms they use for this process, probably the websites or any other digital platform. But I think JAVAT can also play a key role in this area by allowing students to also go into them. I mean, on your phone, you'd have the JAVAT platform and you can easily get notification of result announcements. And you can have private areas, of course, for privacy, so that not everybody is seeing the results of your exams or your performance in the course of your study. You can have private areas within the JAVAT platform, and you can actually interact with your lecturer as well. So these are the two first key use cases. I believe JAVAT would play a very good part in. Next slide, please. Now, again, running private universities or running an institution, as it were, if not for profit, at least it should be self-sustaining. And as you can see, based on discussions in the public space, running universities has become a major challenge. And schools are always looking for ways to either run schools profitably or sustainably. One of the key things that would drive that is strengthening the relationship between the service providers and the people who consume the service. The people who provide the service obviously is the administrative functions of the universities and tertiary institutions, as well as the faculty. The consumers of the service are the students. Strengthening the relationship between both, of course, is very essential to sustaining quality tertiary education. Strengthening that relationship can be used, and JAVAT can play a key role in strengthening that relationship with a permanent presence that allows the consumers of the service, and even people who sponsor the consumers of the service, the students, to have a presence permanently via the JAVAT app. You can basically have free calls and video calls on JAVAT. And once the university subscribes to a low-cost collaboration tool such as JAVAT, you can have reminders and notifications. Parents can interact with faculty, ask questions at different times during the course of study, even when the students are not in session, and basically just encourage lots of interaction between the service providers and the consumers of the service. Again, in the course of study, students always have to interact with the faculty and the administrative functions of the tertiary institutions over the course of either the 4, 5, 6, or 7-year study. Having an app that is dedicated to this, a collaboration tool such as this, would also help students, excuse me, help students have unfettered access to these key either decision makers or problem solvers in the course. I mean, if I also use personal experience going through the Obafemi Law University, if there was a platform where you can easily reach out to either your lecturers or reach out to people in admissions or people in exams and records, I mean, to make life a lot much more easier going through that journey. Another aspect, of course, which is also very critical, is sharing class schedules. And in a lot of instances, you can miss class schedules that have changed for maybe different reasons. In fact, it's possible that you can even have a clash of particular lectures using the same exam hall just because information is not properly managed or shared. I know there are other platforms like WhatsApp and like Facebook and some others, but if you look at information integrity, it's a bit of an issue when you use platforms such as WhatsApp to disseminate this kind of information. But with JAVAT, you have control over information integrity. So things like sharing class schedules can be much more efficient, and you can also have that element of integrity that you know that, okay, look, there's going to be a change in class schedules. Via JAVAT, you'll be notified, and you know that information is coming from the right source, and you're not misled. So basically, the class schedules can also be shared via JAVAT for the entire semester or even for the entire year, and there are going to be significant changes to those schedules. People can easily be notified via the JAVAT platform. So essentially, JAVAT brings to bear on different aspects and functions of tertiary institutions learning. And even, I believe, even though this my particular discussion is about tertiary institutions, I believe there are also applications for institutions at the secondary level as well, in terms of some of these aspects of strengthening relationships and students, faculty, and administrative functions of schools interaction. So that is essentially basically how I think JAVAT can be of use. excuse me, can be of use in our higher learning institutions. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Sumaila, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Adeshola. I mean, it was actually quite easy for me to relate with everything you talked about, because while I was in school too, of course, I schooled in Nigeria, in Ibadan at the time, and if you are not, so much in contact with your colleagues, it's actually possible that you miss an exam. If there's a slight change in exam time, say few days to the commencement of your examination. I mean, I once almost missed an exam because there was a change in the timetable, and I didn't know. I mean, because I hadn't visited the faculty for days. I mean, I'd gone reading, and I wasn't on WhatsApp too, because WhatsApp is just a whole lot of distraction at the time, So, and I just almost missed the exam. I got to know 30 minutes to the exam when I saw my colleagues going out from the hostel, and I was like, where are you going? That I get going for exams, really? And that was just it. So now just imagine there was a JAVAT 365 in that particular circle. I mean, a notification would have been sent from the department to every student that, oh, there's a particular adjustment to this exam time, and everybody would just be in the know. But there was just nothing like that. You either go to the faculty to look at the board, or you miss out on it. So it was just that bad. And again, I mean, should you have anything to discuss with your lecturer, you either just walk all the way down to your faculty to meet him there, and you may have to do that 10 times before you meet him. You either just do that, or you never get to have that conversation with him. I mean, to get to have a phone call with your lecturer or somewhat a very big stuff. It just almost never happens, except those that are really, really close to the lecturers. So yeah, this actually just a lot of cases where Java 365 could help, improve the way we do things, not just in the private institutions, but even in federal institutions, really. So this could go a long way in making things better for our country. Okay, so we'll be moving on to the next use case. We'll be having Toye Oyewomi, the head of digital and data, service at Venture Garden, take us through a digital transformation use case for Java 365. So over to you, Toye.
Thank you, Sumaila, and good morning, everyone. Once again, hope I'm audible. Just to confirm, everybody can hear me. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. It's a privilege and honor to be on this platform. And with PwC and APEC Group to share this use case around digital business transformation. It's an awesome experience so far. Been enjoying the interactive session. Thanks to David, for kind of bringing the commercial value to bear, and thanks to the just an all-around awesome team year-round for the walkthrough on the product. It's very enlightening and insightful to see all the beautiful features and what Java can do for organizations. And thanks to Milas also for well done with the moderation so far. So the use case around digital transformation, I'll be speaking on that. My role in Venture Garden Group, I kind of evolved from being head of digital and data services. I'm now also a co-founder for one of our subsidiary businesses, that's Garden Ventures, focused on delivering high impact, high growth solutions, focused on technology and data and digital transformation as a whole to clients in different sectors, and to just create value and assure impact for those businesses. So I'm a tech enthusiast. I love innovation, and digital transformation is just a sweet spot for me. So we'll be talking about how Java 365 really can be leveraged, to support digital transformation efforts or initiative in organizations. But as a background context to digital transformation, we're all aware. I don't know if you can move to the next slide, please. So as a background context to digital transformation, as we're all aware, it's basically how you leverage technology to support business outcomes. Basically, you can see digital transformation as a tech-enabled business transformation, basically to just enable organization thrive in this digital era and to ensure that they're not left behind. More than 85%, of organizations are now digitally engaged, based on recent statistics. Out of that number, we have more than 75 of them that believe that digital transformation can help deliver, better products and services. Right? And so that's interesting times. That's great to know that everybody's now embracing digital transformation, just leveraging technology tools to support better business outcomes, to improve business, results and grow and scale. And so if you look at today's landscape, a lot of businesses still struggle. More than, let's say, 78% feel that productivity can be improved for the employees if they leverage the right digital tools. And there's still a lot of organizations that are struggling with manual business processes and inefficient workflows, and that is no longer sustainable, for business operations. The lack of digital workplace tools as well to enable remote work or hybrid work is also a big challenge some organizations have faced. And so it's a no-brainer for them to want to embrace, digital transformation to survive. Of course, organizations today as well are also trying to evolve from their legacy assets or technologies to more modernized, self-service driven, data-driven, systems, just to make sure that they are still in business. I don't know how many of us have seen, the picture of the cameraman on an helicopter that, on CNN, that CNN used to use to cover their news, but that has been, kicked out now with drone technology, right? That's an example of how legacy technology can be, redundant in face of disruption with technology, and means that everyone just needs to, embrace and shift, to digital era. Of course, businesses are also understanding that if they don't embrace digital transformation, they will lose market share, because your next or your set of competition or competitors will be light years ahead of you if you are still using legacy technology, right? And then you are going to be blown out of business. So that's today's problem. We all appreciate that is the reality of art today. And so therefore, why should companies, organizations, or businesses even embrace digital, as a way to survive? So digital transformation is something that is applicable to every business or every industry or sector. Virtually every organization today now begins to think that way to leverage technology and data to transform, right? Obviously, by embracing digital transformation, you will create more empowered employees, because then you have the right tools that allow them to get more done with the same thing or less. Of course, it allows you to drive a lot of efficiency by automation, your business processes and workflows. And what that does, ultimately, it reduces a lot of waste and helps you to achieve cost savings, both in the short to long term. And of course, a lot of businesses have also realized that you can create new business models and boost in profitability just by embracing digital. Right now, everybody is marketing through social media, leveraging the social media platforms to sell their market or services. Maybe 20, 30 years ago, when there was no Facebook or Google or YouTube, all of those kinds of things wouldn't have been possible. I've not had to, market through the television and print media. But now we have lots of organizations that are thriving on social media thanks to digital. Yeah, and it's helping their businesses to survive. And so as we again bring this home to our use case, how do we leverage Java 365 to solve and achieve smart digital transformation, which is like the overriding theme of today's webinar. And I'm going to take a specific use case in the power sector, and I pick on any distribution, any energy distribution company today that wants to optimize their, field operations, for example, and want to drive better customer, experience and service delivery, will find the use case of JAVAT very useful. Why? So the question is, how do we, how can we envision that? For example, as we all know, energy distribution companies, have a lot of these frontline field operations of frontline workers that are kind of disconnected from the back office workers. Most times you have, companies that probably in this use case, more than 60 to 70% of their staff or workforce are in the frontline and the field operations. They are the ones going to, resolve technical issues, install meters, ensure that the customer have light, in the last mile. And those field operations staff, most of them are disconnected from the back office or the operations control center at the headquarters. Why? Because they don't have the right tools, to be able to stay in touch with what's happening. They are not able to collaborate and coordinate what's happening on the field and really back to the back office in an efficient manner. And of course, we are past the age of walkie-talkie or past the age of using obsolete technology to achieve that collaboration. That's where JAVAT comes in. JAVAT 365, I like to see JAVAT 365 as a professional WhatsApp combined with Zoom type, capabilities, right? Another way you could see JAVAT is it's like a lightweight version of Microsoft Teams, right? That just streamlined and really focused on, ensuring, clear, real-time messaging, content sharing, lovely feature with the polls and surveys, and ability to quickly get rapid data and insights from what's happening on the with your staff, the way they use those tools, and with that in mind, if you look at this use case of field operations, frontline workers that are disconnected from the back office, what Java can help achieve is, faster decision making. For example, you have the people that have gone to fix an issue for a customer, and you need to make a decision on what equipments need to be purchased and fixed, and something that typically take 1 week to get resolved. Right there, you can jump on a video call with the back office or the decision maker in the back office from the front lines, and basically have a real-time assessment of the technical issue or challenge with the customer's assets. In this case, maybe like an energy meter that is default, or a transformer that is bad in a particular locality. And this energy distribution company just, have deployed their field ops and they go and resolve this, but they discover that they need to they have to purchase some certain materials or certain devices or equipments to replace the damaged parts. Right? They can jump on a video call instantly and get that, to show real time the status of the asset that's damaged. And the operations control center at the headquarters can also get real time feedback, and they can just make instant, faster decision on the spot. Yeah, you say today, maybe you can do that with WhatsApp, but reality is, as we said, you want to make sure that you have a corporate platform, a professional platform where your data is managed, where your staff is connected, and you can manage information sharing, in a more secure way, and not where WhatsApp that is more public. So you want a most corporate friendly platform like JAVAT to achieve that kind of, business operation. So that is just one use case, right? Another use case, of course, is how you help your frontline workers, your field operations, to get more connected with what's happening in the back office, right? Thanks to that nice target content sharing feature that Java has, when you have a lot of these frontline workers scattered across 36 states in Nigeria, and they don't really know when policies are rolled out or when there are new changes or announcements or things that impact them, and they just not have a way to quickly understand, when there's an announcement or there's a content that's been published. JAVAT allows them to stay in touch, essentially, with what's happening in the back office. No longer that I'm working on the field and I don't know what's happening, right? With that capability in JAVAT, you actually address, collaboration and communication real time between the back office and the front office. And I think pretty much those are just two examples, again, within this use case, and there could be more, obviously. As we talk to these customers and talk to some of these clients, you discover there's so many use cases, uses and opportunities to add value using Java 365. I think I pretty much have summarized, this use case, and it's all about improved service delivery for these clients. It's all about improved customer experience. It's all about productivity for the staff, and that's what Java 365 can make happen for the client and organization that embrace this. So back to you, Sumaila.
All right, thank you so much. That was actually an insightful session. Most times when I actually just get to see maybe Ikeja Electric, staff go around, to different houses to see the kind of connection they have and how they communicate with their head office. You just get to observe that if there's just an issue that has to be escalated, they either just choose their walkie-talkie, like you said, or they just put a direct call across to the head office. That particular process could be simplified. It could be made better. And again, when you said what you said, I got to think of how this communication also happens even in the military. It happens even in the police force. I mean, I've had close contact with some of them, and if there's an information that has to be passed across from Abuja, for example, to the guys working in, say, Ikeja, there's this thing they call signal, and it could actually take 3 days or something like that for a signal to be passed from Abuja to Lagos, and in some cases where it could actually take shorter time. But that particular process again, regardless of how simplified it is right now, could be further simplified by Java 365. So thank you so much for that insightful section once more. So we'll be moving on to the NGO use case. So we'll be inviting Tian Obade, an ED at Zero Poverty in Afrique, to take us through the use case. So over to you, Tiano.
All right, so Smila, I think I'm gonna have to take it for Tiano here. He did send me a message saying that he's currently in field, so he's having some connectivity issue for Livestorm platform that we have here. So I would go through a slide.
All right, that is fine. You can go ahead.
Thank you, sir. All right, so we're very excited to have, and it's actually, so he can actually hear us speak, is part of the audience. Is just speaking as a challenge right now. So ZPA, Zero for Africa, is an NGO based in Guinea, and they pretty much specialize in social behavior changes and sustainable development and agriculture and community resilience within within Guinea, as they work with the United Nations. So I would say ZPA is a very special client of ours, because when we were putting JAVAT 365 together, they were the first one to say we would love this solution to be able to use it, because right now, obviously everything's are going really smoothly for them as they've adopted Java 365. But previously, they were having a lot of problems in the field with field workers, volunteers to say, because obviously as an NGO, being a nonprofit organization, there's a lot of volunteers in the markets within the region. So with some of the projects that they had issues being able to have a solution that really understands the African terrain from a connectivity standpoint, number one. And then number two, being able to coordinate and communicate with teams that are out there conducting surveys, supporting the people, and also being able to share documents, and also being able to, help put some sort of hierarchy in place from hey, this is a channel for the management team, this is a channel for the volunteers that I work with. And so being able to also, from a management perspective, being able to have field monitoring activities and reports also coming back in real time to the managers as well through constant collaboration and communication. So there wasn't really a unique space for them to be able to communicate and share data as well. So with Java 365, the value for Zero for Africa really helped streamline communications. For example, being that they work in the agriculture space, they work in the health space, education space, they were able to quickly disseminate, they were able to quickly create different groups to say, and these groups, they were able to use that for specific conversation. So again, streamlining conversation is what they were able to use Java 365 for. They were able to share content. They were able to have live chat in groups, in one-on-one chat. They pretty much overall had a collaborative and they pretty much overall now have a collaborative and friendly work environment. Things are quite operational. And I'm just trying to go through some of the items that Tiana has mentioned here. But from an overall perspective, it's been a joy for us to see that JAVAT 365 was able to live up to his name of from one awesome team to another for Zero for Africa to be able to use the solution to bring their team together, whether it's volunteers, whether it's management, and being able to make sure that communication is efficient so that way their outcomes are also the outcomes is also yielding positive results from a day-to-day operational standpoint. So that is all I'm going to say for Zero for Africa. If there's any other questions, I'm sure Tiano could probably answer in the chat while he's here.
All right. Thank you so much, Yemi.
Sure.
Thank you for that very quick session. So without taking so much time, we'll be moving on to the next speaker, and that is Ahmad Abadi. He is the CTO at APEC Group. He'll be taking us through the security infrastructure of JAVAT 365. So over to you.
Thank you, Smala. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. All right, I got it, yes. So thank you for showing all these great features. I'll be, Yemi, can you push to the next slide, please? Thank you so much. So I'll be speaking about the security infrastructure of Java. So with all these great features that were presented by Yemi and the team, basically the question is, how do we make sure all of this is secure in a comprehensive and scalable environment? So I'll be going through some of the security aspects of Java 365 and how we made sure that all the infrastructure was built with security first in mind. Basically, can you move to the next slide? All right. So our architecture, security architecture, basically is three different tiers. From the development tier, where all of the code base will be, to the infrastructure tier, where all of the servers and all of the different components are hosted, to the internet-facing tier, which basically encompasses all of the applications that you saw, all of the great demos that you saw today. Those are the internet-facing tiers, which includes the mobile iOS application, Android application, and the web version, basically. So we'll go through each one of them, and we see how we made sure that throughout the process of building JAVAT, from the development all the way up, we built everything to make sure that security is thought about first. All right, so what is the development tier? So the developer tier basically is any type of updates that happens to the application from our development team, and any type of, for example, a suggested feature that comes into the pipeline, and we say, oh, we would like to build this great feature, or perhaps there is a bug that needs to be fixed. So that is the first entry point to the security architecture of JAVAT. So basically, we have a very streamlined version control, CI/CD, continuous development, continuous integration, continuous development process that makes sure that any type of code that is pushed to the JAVAT environment is tested, secured, and is delivered properly to the different tenants and to the different clients without disturbing service, without downtime. And basically, we make sure that anytime any action that is performed by our development team and pushed to our different servers do not disturb the current operation. Zero downtime is extremely important to us. We want to make sure that we push updates to all of the different services without disturbing operations and any of the tenants using Java 365. Right. So the infrastructure tier is basically where all the tenants lie. So if you have a JAVAT account, you can make sure that your tenant is completely isolated from all the other tenants. So our infrastructure is built in a way where the data itself is isolated. The database of the tenant itself is completely isolated with its own security policies. And we make sure that there's absolutely no connectivity between those. Just in case if one tenant is compromised, no other tenant would be. And with the tenant approach, we also make sure that we allocate proper resources for each tenant. We make sure that the tenant itself has enough resources to operate, and we have auto scaling features to make sure that, for example, if one particular tenant has an increase in traffic, for example, we might have one tenant that has maybe 20 to 100,000 users. That particular tenant, if it needs more resources to operate properly, our system automatically will basically increase the resources dynamically to make sure that the service is always online and we have absolutely zero downtime. And each of the tenants has multiple applications running simultaneously. Therefore, if one particular application is getting updated or is running out of resources, the other applications will automatically take over in a load balancing approach. And this is the model used by very, very large organizations like Google. And utilizing the Amazon infrastructure, we're able to build all of the server infrastructure around one security and security policy system, which is the Amazon security, and which is fairly well renowned in the market today. All right, so the internet-facing tier basically is the mobile applications, the web applications, and these are the entry points to the servers, basically. So each application, for example, once you connect to one of your applications, you're connecting directly to a completely different tenant server and interacting with that particular tenant server. You have certain features in the application that allows you to switch between different tenants. So you're connecting directly to these tenants in a secure load balance way. Therefore, if, for example, we have many applications out there running simultaneously from multiple different tenants, each one of them is connecting to a particular resource. Therefore, they're not sharing the resources. Therefore, the performance will not be affected. And using an authentication system based on the highest security standards possible, we make sure that none of those applications can be compromised or data can be accessed by someone who should not access the data. And basically also the applications are built with performance. And when we're talking about live video chat, for example, and running surveys and uploading very large documents, uploading videos, performance is very important. So all of these, they all run through a very scalable load balancing system where if for example, you're uploading or you're running a video on one particular resource, and if more users come in or that resource cannot provide the service itself, we are load balancing you to another. We automatically spin up another resource to basically accept the connection from the client and be able to serve the content. And all of this infrastructure basically is built in one place with a unified type of approach. Therefore, if any issues arrive, we're able to basically address it quickly. And to go back also to make sure that our development pipeline all the way to our infrastructure pipeline go through a very rigorous testing and security audit. Every single time we have to push an update to any of the tenants. Basically, we go through audits. We make sure that it is tested properly to our multiple demo environments that we have, to make sure that any feature that is pushed does not disturb the service for the tenant itself. I think with that, I'll hand it back to our host.
All right. Thank you so much, Amadou. So, for those who have been asking questions, as regards the security of their data on Java 365, so I would just want to believe that Amadou has addressed that. But should you have more specific questions during the FAQ section, you can go ahead to ask, and Amadou will provide more context to that. So we're moving on to the last aspect of this webinar. We'll be having David once more, talk to us for about 4 or 5 minutes on how Java 365 can help drive commercial value for our businesses. So over to you, David.
Thank you, Smiler. I'd like to say that I'm back again. It's quite a privilege to have 2 sessions. When I'm not here, me. But it's a good one. So let's just wrap it up. Still on driving commercial value. So I like we have approached this webinar. First of all, bring it to limelight. The essence of this kind of tool to business in terms of commercial value and how it drives it, and how we have also seen how we have linked the commercial value to the main assets in an organization, which is the people. And then for people, we've seen how just driving collaboration, helping people perform better on the job, with this kind of tool, is what is key to ensuring that there's this smooth operations, there's seamless operations, and improvement in the efficiency of the overall business and how it achieves its goals. So wrapping up, we're still just going to end with the same on commercial value, but this time we're going to end with a charge. As our speakers have hovered around different use cases in healthcare, use cases in education, use cases around the frontline staff of organizations that typically have those kind of frontline staff, where like in manufacturing, where it's a lot of times you feel that even to as the on the lower rung of hierarchy, maybe even the factory workers, sometimes they do not feel that that they're included in company decisions or in knowledge sharing, or how the company puts out information to everyone. So Java 365 is here to close that gap, to ensure that it drives inclusiveness in an organization and brings everybody on board, and everybody feels like, oh yes, I think I'm part of this organization. I have a sense of buy-in in this organization. Okay, so lastly, just to wrap up, as organizations continue to adjust, we would, Java 365 when you use Java 365, for example, you would see that you would find so many more use cases to leverage this super tool. This is a tool that has been built. It wasn't just built like this. It went through different iterative processes to get to where it is, and it is not even stopping where it is right now. It's going to very soon. You have a lot more features that will support wholesomely what business of the future would require. But for now, we just want to keep it simple. We just want to keep it efficient, so that everybody can use it and it's easy to use. And it has been designed by just this very awesome team, and it's supposed to be used all year round. Okay, so if you want to be JAVAT, if you want to be just a very awesome team all year round, then JAVAT is the tool, to help you achieve that. So this is a final charge to organizations, right? You want to keep your employees motivated. You want to keep your talents within your organization. You want to keep everybody. You want to keep people happy. You want to encourage collaboration. You want to encourage inclusiveness. You want to, make use of a tool that would have that you can always go back and look out for, historical information, because everything is within a structured, framework. The communication is structured within Java 365. If you want a tool that is secure, you want a tool that is also very, very affordable. May I remind you, very, very affordable. So if you want a tool that answers to these questions, then Java 365 is the tool that you really, really need. It's a tool that will help you, enhance your overall organizational collaboration. So that's my final charge to everyone today. Java is here to stay, and Java to continue to penetrate. We plan that Java to continue to penetrate the market. So spread the news. Now you've heard about Java. Let's talk about it in our different organizations. Talk about it with our friends. This is something that is brand new. APEC group and PwC, come together to push this into the market. So I think those are my final words to everyone.
Thank you
Let's
so
go.
much, David.
Yes.
Thank you so much, David, for your take-home messages. So really just to people take them home. So at this particular point, we'll be taking questions from the audience. Already we have a number of questions. You have additional questions, you can just send them in. But so far we have a number of questions to address. So I'll just go ahead into that. So first off, we'll be looking at okay. There's this question that is being asked. Up to how many participants can we have in a video call? Up to how many participants can we have in a video call? So that's a question from Uju. So I think that would actually be for Yemi Bakri to answer.
Yes, I'll take that question. I know David has been pointing at me since in his presentation about me loving to talk. But yes, so to answer that question relatively quickly, I know we're coming up to time here. The awesome thing about our solution is that you can have up to 500 participants in a video conference call. And let me be a little bit salesy here. I know a lot of people, a lot of organizations, or people use Zoom, and Zoom licenses, I think, a $24 a year license would give you up to 100 users. But with JAVAT, a $2 per user per month, if you take that to 1 year, that's what 12, same $24 would give you up to 500 users on a video conferencing call. And again, made for Africa terrain. Thank you.
All right. So thank you so much, Yemi. So to make things simpler, this product can actually take up to 500 participants, and it is very affordable compared to what you have out there. So also take the next question, which is actually saying, can login be shared among users rather than subscribe for different users? Can login be shared among users rather than subscribe for different users? So again, I think that question should actually go to Yemi Bakri.
Sure, I'll take that question. I'm not really sure I understand that question properly, to be honest. But obviously, from a security standpoint, that just sounds like a no-no. In any application, even outside of Java, you should not be sharing your credentials. Meaning, obviously, organizations that are probably sharing user licenses for communication solutions or video conferences, it's not always best practices, because then you lose the audit trail. So that's a big no-no from a security standpoint. You don't
Uh,
want to do that.
yeah, all right. Thank you, Yemi, for that.
Mhm.
I think so. The next question would actually be ordinarily it's meant to be a question asked by Sadiq Dare, saying, taking into consideration the African terrain, how can this app work efficiently? Again, when I look at this question, I really don't get the perspective from which the questioner is coming from exactly, because if you look closely, you see taking into consideration the African terrain. So what constraint exactly in the African terrain do you expect this app to work against efficiently? Do you understand my point, Yemi?
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, African terrain comes with so many things. And I think we mentioned that with the NGO scenario, with Tierno, right? You're talking about connectivity issues, right? You're talking about some areas where you just have no connections, and how do you keep up, right? So one of the things that we actually did with our, especially with our video conferencing piece, is it's very clear. People would literally get on video calls from different regions of the world, and they're so amazed at how clear and crisp the quality is, because again, we're always putting so much love in our product, so there's constant improvement. That doesn't affect the company's day-to-day operation. That's one. Again, we also talked about offline capabilities as well, so meaning content can be shared, and you don't need to have internet connectivity to log in to be able to see this content shared. The offline capability allows you to be able to see those things. So if you go to African, what's that word again? African terrain complexities. You're still able to access your information from an offline perspective. I think that's the way I would answer that question.
All right. So thank you, thank you. So I think the next question would actually go to Ahmad Abadi, who talked about security infrastructure of JAVAT. So the question is, how secured are our data shared on Java 365? What are the guarantees? Maybe Ahmad can quickly answer that.
Yeah,
So did you get the question clearly?
yeah, I got the question. So basically, the question is how can we guarantee security at the data level? Um, so as I mentioned before, each tenant has their own database stack basically, and each of those have their own um, basically credentials. And the only way to get into a tenant's database is through our infrastructure, which is highly secure. It's so secure you cannot even connect to it through a regular password. We use highly encrypted security keys that are rotated and are only known to very few members, are only kept very safe from very few members of our team. And we do our yearly rotations and changes. So the security, in order to get to any of the tenants' databases, you have to breach physical security of our servers, which is nearly impossible, knowing that we're using basically all of the high security standards provided by AWS. So basically, we're protected by that layer of security. And as far as in order for you to breach a database, you have to be able to connect to it directly, and basically the security filters that are put into our databases only allows it is based on proprietary rules that we can't speak about on this call, but they can only be accessed from one location, in which is the tenant, and only the tenant has the key, and it's protected by our physical security.
All right. Thank
And
you
and,
so
and, and
much.
just maybe I wanted to touch on the question of the African terrain question. So sometimes when you make a call, for example, within an African region, from one region to another, if you make a Zoom call, for example, your call is being routed all the way from Europe to the US, potentially Asia, depending on what network operator you're using. If you're a very large organization, basically, and you have there's a particular JAVAT service that we provide to like the highest tier of service. it would be possible to deploy JAVAT in a region base. Therefore, if you're making a call from one person to another person that are maybe 100 miles apart, you don't have to travel 10,000 miles. Your call will be routed directly through the local infrastructure. So this is something that we have to start looking at and something we always think about at JAVAT is basically how do we basically build local networks, basically. If we have the infrastructure in Africa to do it, you can make a phone call or a video call without your call ever being routed through international operators. And I think that's something I'm very excited about. We can talk about more. Any questions, or anybody else have any questions on how we can do that? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Amadou. So we'll be closing this session with one more question, and I think that will actually be going to Yemi. So Yemi, very quickly, what are the functionality differences between Java, Slack, and Zoom?
I think Toye actually asked this quite well in the beginning of his presentation. Java 365 is not here to reinvent the wheel. When you look at Slack, um, I like to say the word limited, not unlimited. Java 365 provides a very unlimited space where you're able to quickly perform the same task at a very more cost efficient way, as well as a simplified way made again for the African region. A global product made for the African region. Now, Zoom, on the other hand, I always like to tell people that Zoom is just a communication solution. It's not a collaboration. After you're done with your video conference, that's that. But Java 365 offers more than that from a functionality perspective. Like Toye said, it's a simplified Teams, Microsoft Teams, or Slack in this case, to make it easier to use for all types of users, as well as also being cost effective for all the SMEs out there looking to bridge the gap on cost. Thank you.
All right. So thank you, Yemi. Thank you to all the speakers, from David to Yemi to Adeshola Shreton to Toyi, Tieno Balde, Amadou Balde, and our distinguished audience. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for making it down for this particular webinar. And I think I was actually going to have a recap before, but at this particular point, it's just almost as though everything is still in our mind, from the strong security of Java 365 all the way down to the various features we have both on the mobile, the web, and the mail. Then and how we can use this for collaboration, and of course we can still remember the use cases shared by Toye and Adeshola and the others, from education to NGO to digital transformation, use cases, and of course the features Yemi talked about, and lastly the commercial value that this product can actually add to our businesses, as discussed by David. So thank you so much. We've actually spent, I think, about 2 hours on this particular program already. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your contributions and the questions you asked. I think that's made us to share a bit more light on different topics. So thank you so much, and you are highly welcome.
All right. Well, thank you, and I just want to say this. Thank you so much, Smiler, for moderating us so well, and taking everyone through this journey. As a co-founder and CEO for APEC Group, I want to say thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Please, would love to present and have a one-on-one session with you should you have any more questions. Java 365 does offer a 30-day free trial. So please head on over to www.java365 to request for a deep dive demo if you'd like one, or just get started for free, or send us an email. We're here. We're here for you. And we are here pushing this initiative together with PwC in the Africa terrain, as mentioned earlier by David. Thank you, everyone, and have a lovely, lovely, lovely rest of the day. Thank you. And thank you to the speakers as well. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.